LeBron James' first year with the Miami Heat, his 8th season, was a very interesting one. You know, a lot of people accused him of being a quitter and not getting it done in Cleveland and lacking the clutch gene and stuff like that. And he did, he definitely didn't help his case when he failed in the NBA Finals. He failed big time. And I believe that moment, along with a few others, helped him become the player he is today. And first off, I want to congratulate him for winning his 4th MVP in 5 years. I mean, that's just an amazing accomplishment, and I believe there's going to be a few more in his resume when it's all said and done. But I want to talk to you guys about a few things in pertaining with LeBron James. First of all, in life and everything else, sometimes you have to fail to succeed. And, when you're playing in the NBA season, especially after you lose, man, that's a long summer. And that was a very long summer for LeBron. He said for 2 weeks he didn't speak to anybody. He was up in his room, didn't speak to his family. He was just distraught. And he went back to the basics and worked on his game real hard and stuff like that. He worked out with Akeem and worked out on his ball handling, on his down low in the post game. He worked on the fundamentals, and he got back to the basics. And to me, that finals loss, I think that made the league be in trouble, because now this guy is absolutely unstoppable. And literally, it's LeBron James versus the NBA. LeBron and the Heat versus the NBA. LeBron versus the field, pretty much. And basically, what it all comes down to is people are saying that LeBron doesn't have the clutch gene. And I was one of them. I used to say that about him when he was in Cleveland. I seen a lot of times he lacked it. He hit a couple game winners here and there and stuff like that. But when it came down to it, late in the game and stuff like that, because he didn't hit or wasn't successful with a lot of game-winning shots and stuff like that, people say that he lacked the clutch gene. And plus, with him, leaving his team to join another man's team, Dwayne Wade's team, a lot of people felt like he wasn't a leader and he didn't have the clutch gene. Well, now it's obvious that he is the leader of the Miami Heat, and also he does have the clutch gene. And the moment to me came, there was a few moments during the season last year, but during the 2011-2012 campaign in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics. You're talking about a team, the Miami Heat, that were heavy favorites, and this is the second year in a row they were favorites. And LeBron was faced against a big obstacle. In Game 6 of the Celtics Heat series, they were down 3-2, the Heat. And that Game 6, to me, was one of the best performances as far as a superstar being down in a series in a must-win situation that I've ever seen. This guy had a look on his face that it almost looked like he was a man possessed, literally. Like somebody went inside LeBron James' body and took over, his basketball game and his body, and became this guy that was just absolutely unstoppable, unflappable, and nothing was going to get in his head, or nothing was going to stop him that night, And I was happy that he did it, but I was angry at the same time, because I'm like, why you can't do this all the time? And to me, that moment catapulted him, because, hey, if they would have lost again, and they wouldn't have won. But they won Game 6, and then Game 7, he led the Heat past the Celtics, and then what happened in the finals. So those two moments, losing in the NBA Finals in 2011, and then that 2012 Game 6, to me, has not only he's already the best player in the league by far, but now he has the clutch gene. He's hit a couple game-winning shots this year and everything else, but I can't base it off of just game-winning shots as far as the clutch gene. And folks, here's what I mean by clutch gene. I'm not, some people take it so literally. The fake analyst in Chicago a couple of years ago, he made a video with guys shooting out the window, saying this is a sniper, this is a killer. And then the clutch gene, he had a thing with DNA, genetic strands, and all that. I'm not saying literally clutch genetics. What I mean by clutch gene, in my opinion, is somebody that can close the game and has no fear whatsoever when it comes down to the last few minutes of a ball game, and you're clutch, meaning that the team can depend on you. It doesn't mean you have to score the basket, but your body language, you're the leader, and you're clutch in those situations. And LeBron James is. I mean, he showed it not only in the NBA Finals last year, when he pretty much dominated in those finals, but he's done it all season, and that's why he's the MVP. But guys, you know, the evolution of basketball has took a dramatic turn. And here's what I mean. You know, when I was growing up, Michael Jordan was the standard. You know, and like I've said this once, I said this again, you know, Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player, accomplished basketball player that I've ever seen, that has ever played the game. Arguably, second is probably Kareem or Wilt or something like that. But as far as to, you know, NBA standards, Michael Jordan set the bar. He set the standards. So a lot of players that were coming out, Harold Miner, Kobe Bryant, Grant Hill, Kendall Gill, you know, just to name a few, a lot of these guys mimicked Michael Jordan. Not Grant Hill as much, but, you know, he had his own game and stuff like that. But a lot of those guys mimicked Michael Jordan because he was, you know, he was the standard. But now we have a different standard, and that standard is LeBron James. You know, LeBron James is a mixture of a lot of great NBA players. You can see a lot of Jordan in him, a lot of Magic, some Bird, some Dominique, some Vince Carter. You know, he's got the body of a young Karl Malone. I mean, you know, we've never seen a guy like this. And you look on the playgrounds today, and the kids nowadays are not mimicking Michael Jordan. Most of them are mimicking Kobe Bryant, which is kind of mimicking Jordan. But most of these guys want to play like LeBron. And the reason why they want to play like LeBron is because not only is LeBron James the best player, but he's the best all-around player. The guy does it all, and he has it all. And, you know, I hear people talking about different subjects when it comes to LeBron and Kobe, especially before LeBron won a championship. You know, the fake analyst in Chicago, he'd always say championships are a team accomplishment and basically base everything on individual awards and statistics. And then the half-truth down there in Georgia, he would always talk about stats are for losers and it's all about championships. And I agree with both of them to a certain extent, and I'm kind of like down the middle, but when it comes to players, to me, championships are more valuable to me than individual stats. But when it comes to LeBron James, folks, he has it all. Okay? We're talking about a guy that not only fills it up in the stat sheet and has all the individual awards, he has the intangibles too that you can't see on the stat sheet. Now, you can't necessarily say that, and you can argue that his first 7-8 years in the league, but now this is a new day. He does have the intangibles. And what I mean by the intangibles, I'm talking about the stuff when you compare Joakim Noah versus Dwight Howard. You know, Dwight Howard on paper looks better than Joakim Noah, but give me Joakim Noah in a heartbeat any day. I will take him over Dwight Howard. LeBron James has it all. As of this recording, I'm recording this the day of Game 1 of the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls, and he's going to, you know, be presented with his MVP award. He's already got it officially on Sunday, but this is Monday where he's going to get it before the game. And this is before he's going to win multiple titles. So if somebody goes back and look at this a couple of years from now, you'll understand what I'm saying. But this guy is going to win multiple championships. He's going to win multiple MVPs. He's a stat sheet stuffer. He's a triple-double walking. This guy does it all. And to me, when people tell me or say that championships are a team accomplishment, yes, that's true, but to a certain extent, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. When they talk about Michael Jordan, the first thing they say is 6 championships. They don't say 5 MVPs. They don't say 13 All-Star games. They don't say 10 scoring titles first. They say 6 championships first and then those things. Listen, when Michael Jordan won in 1991, after his 7 years, they said, oh, he finally did it. He finally did it. They didn't say, oh, the Bulls finally did it. They talked about the Bulls, but the big story was Michael Jordan winning the championship. Not the Bulls organization. The Bulls, you know, it took them years and years to win their first championship, but it was a bigger deal for the individual player, and that's why I say this is a players' league. Well, Michael Jordan first won his MVP in 1988. They didn't say, oh, finally, he won an MVP. Oh, he got the monkey off his back. No, they didn't say that. Now, I'm not saying MVPs are not important. They are. But in the big picture of an overall legacy, you ask Charles Barkley this. If he had 3 MVPs, he's only got 1, but if he had 3 MVPs, would he trade in those 3 MVPs for 1 championship? You're damn right he would. You know, and I'm not talking about players like Derek Fisher, Steve Kerr, and Robert Horry. Those guys are role players, and everybody has a role. But I'm talking about franchise superstar players like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. Those guys are measured by championships. But folks, LeBron James is the new standard of the NBA. Players coming up nowadays are going to be mimicking LeBron James. LeBron James is the new standard for the NBA. He has it all. He has a championship and on his way to multiple championships. He's probably going to surpass Michael Jordan in MVPs. Folks, this guy does it and has it all. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to get better. And that's the thing. And I, people get mad at me and got mad at me when I said LeBron James is better than Jordan. I made a couple of videos basically saying Jordan is the greatest, which is the most accomplished player, but LeBron is a better player. Folks, listen, this is how life in the world goes. Players, people, human beings, we all evolve, and we learn from the past. When Michael Jordan was playing, when I was growing up, my uncles and my father and all them, they couldn't stand Jordan. They thought he was a showboat, he was a hot dog. They said, listen, man, Dr. J, Bill Russell, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, Iceman Gervin, Jordan couldn't hold these guys' jock straps. That's what they would tell me. And I didn't want to hear none of that. And I would look at the old tapes of these guys and I said, well, it looks like to me Jordan is better. And I hate to say this, folks, but that's what happens. The players evolve and get better. Some of you guys that love Michael Jordan so much, I love him too. But the game evolves. It evolves. And people evolve and players evolve. And players get better. And the only way you can really compare players, honestly, is two ways. One is if you can compare that particular player to his era and see how he dominated his era versus the other player. Or you have to take those players that the other player played and put them against the player that you're comparing to. And you can't do that. So the only way you're going to do is compare them to their competition. And the competition is getting better. And that's what I put, to me, they are. And that's what I put in consideration when I compare Michael Jordan and Kobe and LeBron and guys like that. Will LeBron James be the greatest player ever? I don't know. Because honestly, it's just an opinion. And if they took a vote and see who is the greatest player by the time LeBron retires, I don't know if he'll surpass Jordan. Will he surpass him in accomplishments? I think he'll get close because I don't know if he's going to pass his championships, but I think he's going to pass him in MVPs and things like that. But folks, LeBron James is the new evolution of the game. He does it all. He rebounds. He passes. He has the intangibles. He's got the clutch gene. He can hit clutch shots. He's getting better at his free throws. He can shoot jumpers. He can shoot threes. Like I said, rebound, pass, assist. The intangibles. He's a leader. The guy does it all. And now he is the new standard of the NBA. And let me tell you something, folks. LeBron James is not going anywhere anytime soon. And we all need to sit back and watch the greatness of LeBron James. Let me know what you guys think about LeBron, the MVPs, comparing other players, the new era of basketball, championships are team accomplishments, stats are for losers, whatever it is you guys want to talk about in this particular subject, let me know because it was, I was all over the place in this video. So let me know what you guys think. And thank you again for watching. I really appreciate you guys listening in. You give me the most precious thing you have is your time, and I really, really do appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and once again, thank you very much. Peace.